so here we're gonna tie a flathead axe. We're gonna hoist it going up that way. So the first thing we want to do is we're gonna tie a clove hitch. Once we have our clove hitch down, we can slide the axe through. We're gonna want it all the way by the head of the axe. There you see a clove hitch. Now here's the important part. If you go this way, that's breaking the knot because it breaks and puts tension there. But if you go this way, it's correct. But if you can see, I'm using this and now I'm not hoisting it, I'm going the wrong way. So what you can do is flip this, because this rope is the one that's going up towards the roof, and again, breaking the knot, not breaking the knot. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a half hitch, just like so. You can tell it's a half hitch because it holds itself up. If I do it this way, there's nothing there. So I'm gonna do this half hitch, and I'm gonna put it through the whole axe. I want it about fist lengths apart from my clove hitch. I'm then gonna do another half hitch about a fist length from the end of the axe. Now my flathead axe is ready for hoisting. The same thing applies to a pighead axe. You just wouldn't, it would be the same exact method. Alright, so the next thing we're gonna tie here is a Halligan. Again, you're just gonna start with the normal clove hitch. You're gonna put it around the forks of the Halligan. Make sure to tie it. There is no correct placement of it. Here we are gonna end up breaking the knot. But the big thing with this is, remember, we're gonna hoist going this way. So we're gonna use this rope, and when you're putting it around the forks, you can't go this way because the forks of it will cut it. You wanna make sure to go this way in the same shape of the forks. So once you have that, you bring it over, and we're gonna do another half hitch, just like how we did before. You want to put it about a fist's length from your clove hitch as well, and then we're gonna do one more half hitch. And this last one, you want to make sure it goes through the adze and the spike of it. Make sure everything's aligned. And then you have a Halligan ready for hoisting. Alright, so the next thing we're going to tie is a pike pole. Let's say this is a 6-foot pike pole. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to tie a clove hitch at about a 1/3 mark. So we're going to go about 2 feet, about here. Just a rough estimate, nothing crazy. We're gonna tie it. Now, one thing you gotta make sure when you do this is whatever way you're hoisting, the pick of the pike pole is facing in that direction. So if that's our roof, we're just gonna go ahead and flip this just like that. And again, what we're gonna do is about a 1/3 of the way, tie a clove hitch. It's about 2 feet. It doesn't have to be exact right on the mark, but more or less. You come over, and we're gonna make a half hitch, just like this. Remember, this is a half hitch, not the other way around. So we wanna make sure to do half hitch, put it all the way through. Until the next 1/3 mark, which is about there. And then the last thing you want to do is make another half hitch right at the end, right around the hook of it. And there you have a pike pole ready for hoisting. So the next thing we're going to tie here is a K12. I'm going to make sure to tie my tagline first. The tagline's what someone ties, so when we hoist it, it's not scratching into the side of the building. The crew on the ground can pull on the tagline to keep it away from the building. You want to make sure to tie that first, because if you tie your hoist line first, they can pull it up before you're ready. So what you're going to do is find a vertical bar, and you're going to tie a vertical clove hitch. So this is how I like to make my clove hitches. I like to make an X, just like this. And since we started going in this direction, we're going to keep going that direction. So I started that, again, going in that direction. And that hole that you made right here is where you put it through. There you have your clove hitch. If I tie my safety here, it breaks the knot. So I'm going to keep going around in that direction we were talking about. And I'm going to tie my safety. If I feel like I don't have enough rope, I can just feed it through. And now if I have too much, I can tie it down here. And I can just cinch it down to make sure it's tight on there. Good. Next thing I'm going to tie is my hoist line. I'm going to find a horizontal bar, and I'm going to tie a bowline. So to tie a bowline, just feed one end through, and we're going to use the same little rhyme or story to keep tying it every time. So we have a rabbit who's attached to his tail. The tail goes on the top. So the rabbit comes out of the hole and it lays down. Here you have a tree. This loop right here is a lake. The rabbit goes between both of them and back in the hole. Grab both ends, cinch it down. Again, if you have too much, just tie your safety wherever you need to tie it, and you can cinch it down afterwards. Here it should be enough to give us just about 6 inches. And now I have a K12 ready for hoisting. So next we're going to tie our vent fan here. Again, we're going to tie a tagline first so we don't scratch it up the building. And if we tie our hoist line first, the crew could just look down, see it is tied, and start pulling before we're ready. So all I'm going to do is just tie a clove hitch on here. Again, I like to make an X. I like to keep going in that same direction. So you make that X, keep going in that direction. That loop you made, just pull it through. If we go this way, we break the knot. So we're going to keep going in that direction the whole time. You can see I have more than enough here to tie a safety with 6 inches. So I'm just going to tie it where I feel is the appropriate spot. And then I can just cinch it down and everything should tighten down. Perfect. I'm going to flip the fan over. I'm going to grab my hoist line. And now we're going to do bowling around an object again, but it's just going to include both of these. So again, the little story I like to say is you have a rabbit attached to its tail that goes all the way down. The tail goes on top. See, tail goes on top. The rabbit's going to come out of the hole. It's going to lay down. That big loop there's a lake. This right here is a tree. It's going to go between both of them and right back in that hole it came from. You're going to grab both ends and you're just going to pull. That looks like it might be enough, but just in case, I'm going to feed a little bit more through. I'm going to tie my safety wherever I feel is the appropriate point to give me about 6 inches. So it's going to be down here. And the cool thing with this is I can just feed it through and pull the excess. And now I have a vent fan ready for hoisting. So the next thing here we're going to tie is just a roof ladder. As you can see, I'm going to go to the butt end of it. To make it a little easier on you, I like to lift it up and put it on my foot. Gives you a little more room. We're going to tie a clove hitch here, right at the base, at the first rung. So since we're going in that motion, we're going to keep going in that same direction. Again, you bring it in, make an X. That's how you know when to cross. Bring it in again. That loop you make, that hole you make, you pull it through. You got a clove hitch, that breaks the knot. So we're going to keep going in that direction the whole time. I can see I have too much for safety, or a 6-inch safety. So I'm just going to make it a little farther down. Right there. Now I know it's good, it's about 6 inches, I can just cinch it down. Good. You want to make sure to tie our tagline first, so our crew on the roof doesn't start hoisting it thinking it's ready. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to tie a big figure 8 on a bite. So we're going to go with a loop about that big. We're going to want to follow our 16-inch rule again. It's about 1.5 feet for this section. It's about good. This hand now doesn't move. So just make a figure 8 how you normally would. Pull it through. Now we're at this point, now that hand can move. We can cinch it down. We're going to dress the knot, make it real pretty. We're going to go to the back of the knot. So this is the front of it, this is the back, you know, because this end is sticking out of it. This section that you have is going to go over. It's going to come around, and that's where you tie your safety. So it stays flush and is on the same plane of the figure 8. Should give you about 6 to 8 inches on there. Good. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to come to your ladder. You're going to put it on its side, and you're going to go in the first, second, third hole. I like to go this way. I like to put it in there. I'm gonna bring this around. This big loop that we have here now is gonna go around both beams of the ladder. So I put my foot under it, feed it over both. Once it's through, I just place the knot where it needs to go. I can pull it from this end. And now you want to make sure whatever side you put it on is the bottom. So now I have a roof ladder ready for hoisting. So here we're going to tie as an uncharged hose line for hoisting. We don't need a tag line in this because the hose line itself is going to be the tag line. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the nozzle. We're going to walk it back, say about 2 to 3 feet. About there is good. Flatten that down. Grab our rope to hoist. Come over here. We're going to put our foot under it just to hold it up. And we're going to tie a clove hitch. So remember, a clove hitch, we're going to keep going in the same direction. And on top of that, we're going to make that X to cross over. So now that I have that, I'm just going to stick it through that hole it came from. I'm going to tighten it. If I come in this way and tie my knot, it's breaking the knot. So I'm going to keep going in that direction. I can already see it looks like we're not going to have enough rope. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit more. Pull it through. Tie my safety up here. Alright, good. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to come over here. We're going to tie a half hitch. Our half hitch goes this way, not this way, because that doesn't do anything. You want to make sure you go all the way around. Come through. We're going to tie a half hitch right about here. Again, your school or your institute, wherever you go to learn this, might teach it differently. So just make sure to be able to adapt to it. Half hitch is there, and you can see it's coming all along the spine at the top of it, not on the side, not on the back. Last thing we're going to do is tie another half hitch. I'm going to put it about 6 to 8 inches from the end. And again, you want to make sure it's right across the middle of the spine. It's not on the side, it's not on the back, it's not loose, everything's nice and tight. And from here, you have your uncharged hose line ready for hoisting. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to tie a charged hose line. As you can see, it's charged, we have water flowing out of it. So what you want to do is you want to find about 1.5 feet down from this male coupling. So we'd say about there, more or less. Just rough estimates. I like to put my foot under it, gives me some room to work. We're going to tie a clove hitch. Again, I'll keep moving that direction, make that X, put it back through that hole you made. You're just gonna pull through there. If I go this way, I'm breaking the knot. I can already see I don't have enough rope, so I'm just gonna push some through. Come back around this way. Now I can tie my safety. I'm gonna make sure it's nice and flush with the rest of my knot. And then I'm gonna cinch everything down on this end. Good. From here, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make a half hitch. So I'm just gonna put it through, and I'm gonna put it right here, right at the base of this male couple. Perfect. Let's make sure it's nice and tight. The next step right here, you can't forget it, you're gonna make a bite. Remember, it's just a bite, just a U-turn through the bail. And what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that this bail stays closed. So I'm going to pull that like that. Because remember, we have water flowing through this. We don't want it coming open as it's going up and we're hoisting it. Last thing I want to do is just put a half hitch right here at the end. Remember, this isn't a half hitch. I want to make sure to go all the way around. Put it right about here. You're going to put it at the next one. Make sure, keep that bail closed the whole time. Now we have a charged hose line ready for hoisting.